So, students, we are going to learn our third lesson, the call of the soil, a scent of rice. Before going to start the lesson, let's learn about the author, Venkateshwaran Iyer. Venkateshwaran Iyer, born in 1966, Venkateshwaran Iyer is a science graduate and a certified project management professional. He last worked with IBM in Mumbai as a project manager for software implementation. After 17 years in the IT industry, he quit in 2004 to live on his organic farm in Pet village in Dahanu Taluka, Palghar district, Maharashtra. His book Moong over Microchips traces his transition from techie to farmer. Over a period of 15 to 17 years, it was not a career change but a lifestyle change I was looking for. He says about his decision to shift to the quieter environs of a village. He insisted on practicing organic farming from the outset. He was resolute in spite of numerous challenges which he faced. Today, not only does he deliver lectures on organic farming, but also has joined hands with organic farmers and NGOs working in the organic field to propagate organic farming to ensure that the land at least is not ravaged while they try to make a living out of agriculture. व्यंकटेश्वरन अय्यर यांनी माहिती तंत्रज्ञानाच्या क्षेत्रात जवळजवळ 17 वर्षे काम केले व 2004 साली ते क्षेत्र सोडून ते सेंद्रिय शेती करण्याकडे वळले. डिअर स्टुडंट्स, सी द टायटल ऑफ द लेसन, द कॉल ऑफ द सॉईल, अ सेंट ऑफ राईस. म्हणजे मातीची साद, तांदळाचा सुगंध. स्टुडंट्स, सॉईल मीन्स मदर अर्थ and it is a real life experience. This prose is about the writer's attempts to find a good variety of traditional rice, and he also states the importance of organic farming. Okay, so see the new words first. Page number 26. Lush means rich or luxuriant. Second, gingerly, it means very cautiously or carefully. Then next word, foliage, means the leaves of trees or plants. Next word, new word, exhilarated, means very happy. Now let's go through the lesson. Page number 26. The call of the soil, a scent of rice. The first crop. It was April 2004. I stood in the middle of the lush green field of moong, green gram, and looked around me. It was just before sunrise and the sky was turning a bright orange. The ground was damp and the leaves were shining with dew. My bare feet were muddy as I walked around gingerly, inspecting the plants. Around me were rows of chiku trees and below a dense foliage of moong. At that point, I could not have asked for anything more. The moong plants, not more than 2 feet tall, had green pods hanging out. The pods were not yet ripe and there was a light fuzz growing on them. There was still some time before the harvest. I felt exhilarated. I stood watching the sunrise above the towering trees across the fence and slowly made my way back to the house, a white structure in the middle of this greenery. I could not believe that I was the owner of this land and that I was looking at my first crop as a farmer. After I had paid the advance money for the land, I thought I would have some time to get familiar with farming. But Moru Dada, the broker who got us the land, had other ideas. He was keen that we plant moong at once. I was not prepared for this. I was still reading books and trying to figure out what we could sow and how we should go about it. Moru Dada was quite firm. He said the season was right for sowing moong and the best seeds were available in Surat in the adjacent state of Gujarat. I made a quick trip to Surat and bought around 10 kilograms of moong. Moru Dada rented his tractor to plow the land and quickly planted moong all over the place. See students, crop means plant, grown in a large quantity. The writer was standing in the middle of the green field and he was very happy because before this he had never seen moong growing before. He did not wear shoes and he was wandering and inspecting the plants. He was watching the sunrise and observing his first crop. Hmm? It was unbelievable that he was the owner of the land. And from this, his success story starts. Actually, writer was not ready for sowing. He was just going through the books that what was the process of plantation and so on. But Moru Dada insisted him that the season was right for sowing moong. बघा या भागात लेखकाने शेतातील वातावरणाबद्दल सांगितले आहे आणि लेखक अजूनही पुस्तके वाचून कोणते पीक घ्यावे त्याविषयी पुढे काय करावे हे समजून घेण्याच्या मनस्थितीत होते. पण मोरू दादा जे लेखकाला जमीन मिळवून देणारे मध्यस्थ होते त्यांनी मूग पेरण्यास हीच योग्य वेळ आहे असे सांगितले आणि मूग पेरले. सी स्टुडंट्स, हिअर वी केम अक्रॉस विथ मेनी वर्ड्स विच आर रिलेटेड टू ॲग्रिकल्चर. ओके, so make a list of words related to farming or agriculture. Okay, then see the next paragraph. A few days later we were overjoyed to see tiny green leaves. I had never seen moong growing before and was thrilled at the sight. It was the same thrill I had felt as a young boy when I was the first of the hibiscus I had planted bloom at the railway quarters in Ville Parle in Mumbai. I was grateful to have taken Moru's advice. The next thing Moru Dada wanted to do was spray some pesticide on the plants. Pesticides means insecticide. He claimed that it would give a higher yield. This was something we did not want to do. We were clear that we would not use any chemicals and tried to explain it to him. He reacted as if we had suggested harakiri. Students, see the meaning of harakiri. It is given in our right column. Harakiri, a formal way of killing yourself by cutting open your stomach with a sword. It took a lot of convincing to ensure that Moru Dada and his friends did not use any chemicals on the farm. They refused to understand how crops could grow without sprays. Contrary to what everyone had told us, nature did her job and she needed no bribes to get the work done. Soon it was harvest time and we managed a respectable 300 kilograms. An awful lot of moong and with it a lot of confidence. Now I was certain the land was fertile and that it was possible to grow crops without chemicals. It was a major moral booster. See, writer was very happy and he was sharing his experience that when he was a young boy, once he planted a hibiscus at the railway quarters in Ville Parle in Mumbai, and it was the same thrill what he had felt now. He was grateful to have Moru Dada's advice. Then Moru Dada insisted the writer to use pesticides on plants and also states that how it would give him higher production. And see students, this is the thing which writer did not want to do because writer knew the ill effects of pesticides and after a lot of convincing writer was successful. The writer got a good harvest in spite of using no chemicals. Here students, remember one thing: it was possible to get a good harvest if we left it to nature and allowed things to grow naturally without any artificial inputs. Hmm? There is no need to use additional unnatural things like chemicals. बघा विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, कोणत्याही रासायनिक खतांशिवाय पीक काढता येते हे लेखकाने यातून दाखवून दिले आणि या घटनेने त्यांचे मनोबल देखील वाढले. Students, see page number 27. Right column here is one. In right column there is one sentence that the writer disagreed with Moru Dada because. Here you have to write down its reasons and take the help of above explanation. Okay? Students, now we see the remaining part of the lesson in our next video. Okay? Thank you.